It's the second day of a sit-in at the Sudanese Army headquarters in Khartoum. The first time crowds have reached this part of the city since anti-government rallies began in December over the price of bread, and escalated into calls for an end to President Omar al-Bashir's three-decade rule. They face the army compound calling for freedom. The protesters want the military to support their goal to remove the president.
I think it's coming to a crunch. Either the military will have to side with the regime and aid and abet the crackdown. That's a possibility. Or they would have to take a stand and at least try to ask for the president to resign the same way as happened in Algeria.
But it appears Sudan's military is not yet ready to go that far. As the protests continued, President Bashir met with leaders of the army to discuss the crisis. The Defense Council, which is headed by Bashir, says the protesters must be heard, but warned against letting the country slide deeper into chaos. Security forces have responded to the protest movement with a fierce crackdown. Dozens of people have been killed since the protests began, according to an international human rights group. But the army has not intervened. Riot police fired tear gas at protesters. And at one point, witnesses reported the sound of gunshots. President Bashir has stepped down as head of his ruling party in the hope of calming the protests. But the demonstrators insist they won't give up until his presidency comes to an end. Ijoma Ndukwe, Al Jazeera.